everybody, welcome to Arcane Duels, and I'm Intangible. Today I'm going to be going over the Academy promos. I'm very excited, very honored. This is going to be awesome. Before we begin, I want you to know that Mage Wars Arcane Wonders has done videos explaining how to play Academy. So if you're interested in this video and you haven't already watched that video and you don't know how to play Academy, you should go watch those first, because I'm actually not going to explain how to play the game. I'm just going to talk about the cards and hope you're on board with me. So I'm going to be going through the cards. There's 60 of them, so we're actually going to break this up into a couple episodes. Today I'm going to go over the mages, the equipment, and the attack spells. So I'll talk about those, which ones I think will be good in Arena or Academy, maybe even Domination if it's a special mention. So I guess without further ado, here we go. So we're going to start off with the Wizard. The Wizard is, compared to the Beastmaster, he's going to have 1 extra life, and he starts off with 3 more mana. Now, that is you're going to channel, you have your 2 rounds, right, and he's going to have 3 additional mana, which means he gets to get away with a little bit more. However, the downside to him is that his ability is not nearly as potent. His ability is when you reveal an enchantment with the Dissipate trait, you may pay an additional mana equal to the level of the spell, and then you place 1 additional Dissipate. Now, that can be cool. There's a lot of cards that are out that require or revolve around the Dissipate trait, and so it will last 1 turn longer. The problem with that is if your opponent has a way to dispel that, they don't have to pay the additional mana like you did to get rid of that enchantment. So you end up netting negative mana there. So it can be useful at times. It's really it's an ability that you're going to have to gauge. On top of that, he is trained in Arcane and just Air. You don't have the choice of the elements like you did with the traditional Wizard. So you're just trained in Air, which means you're going to see Air attack spells. You're not really going to see those other elements played on. So that's the Wizard. Next up, we're going to bring up the Beastmaster. Voila! Okay, so the Beastmaster, he has 1 more life, but he doesn't start off with that traditional 3 extra, or that extra 3 mana. He's trained in nature and is weak with fire. So you see the similarities there. However, the Beastmaster, in my opinion, has possibly the strongest ability in the game currently. I'm talking about Arena 2. It's so potent. Now, of course, I wouldn't pit him against an actual Beastmaster since he only has 40 spellbook points, and it's 40 spellbook points and 24 life. That would not measure up. However, his ability is once per round, when the Beastmaster summons a level 1 creature, you may pay 1 mana to have it interplay active. That is awesome. That is so awesome. You can cast any level 1 creature, that is an animal, of course, and it will come in active. Now, that is basically, it's a different variation of the traditional Beastmaster's ability, where when you summon a level 1 creature, you may pay the you may do it as a quick action, or a quick cast rather, which means you don't have to use your full action. It means you can move. It's pretty awesome. However, in this regard, you can have any level 1 any level 1 creature interplay active, and so for only 1 extra mana. So that is basically, if you're running a bunch of level 1 creatures, you have Rouse the Beast all the time, and it doesn't take an action to do it. That's what's so cool. So you still have your quick cast left over, and a lot of level 1 creatures are cheap enough that you'll still be able to use your quick cast and activate that other that level 1 creature you brought in. So really awesome ability. I like the Beastmaster more, but trust me when I say that I've played a lot of games and I've actually only won with him so far. So maybe that's just because I'm bad at the game. I don't know. But he is awesome. Now, let's move on to the attack spells. So right now I'm sitting on a new one, Arcane Missiles. Now, Arcane Missiles is so cool. It costs 6 mana. It is a full action, so that is kind of the downside to it. And you attack in a zone 0 to 1 spaces away. You may attack 1 to 3 creatures, meaning you have the choice. You are not required to do it. It will do 2 damage, ethereal, unavoidable, to any and on top of that critical. So all damage you deal with it is critical, unavoidable, and ethereal, meaning nothing gets away from this thing. If it's going to do 2 damage, it's going to do 2 damage. There's nothing you can say about that. And it does attack conjurations as well. So basically, here's the thing though, it can only attack up to 3 creatures, so you cannot attack a creature twice and then another one. But what is cool about it is you may attack, you may roll separately for each attack, so you get to, choose which creatures you're going to attack and then decide which ones you want to do the damage to. Basically what I'm getting at is it's a great finisher and it's a great way to deal with a lot of dodgy creatures, or at least finish off those creatures, or if you happen to run 2, then it's a great sweeping move within 2 turns. So Arcane Missile's very strong. I wouldn't say broken by any means, at least for Academy. Now when it comes to Arena, there are going to be a lot, let's see, Thought Spores come to mind, and Thought Spores are going to benefit great from this expansion, by the way. So you're going to get away with a lot of actions like that, where you're like, oh man, this would cost my full action. However, with these other cards, it's not really much of an issue. So great card, can be exploited, but at the same time, it's not going to break the game by any means. So awesome card. Next up is Forked Lightning. Now, Forked Lightning is a more potent version of Arcane Missiles without all the cool stuff with it, I guess is the way to say it. It's going to attack 2 creatures. It costs the same full action. Attack 2 creatures and deal 3 dice of damage instead of 2. It is still ethereal and technically sweeping, even though Arcane Missiles wasn't, but it has a 7-up chance to stagger. Now, in Academy, that is awesome, because if you use this before those creatures get to activate, you can take out 2 creatures' actions that round. That is very potent. In Arena, however, I don't see this being as useful because a lot of people aren't running level 1 to 2 creatures right now. However, once Academy is released, we may see a change there. So it's still up in the air as how good it's going to be during Arena. Next up, we have Lightning Jolt. Lightning Jolt costs 4. It is 5-up chance to stagger and ethereal. So, and 0 to 1 range, quick action. So in Academy, that's pretty cool because you can actually use your quick cast marker, and it's only 1 of 2 attack spells in a game for Academy currently that you can use your quick cast marker for. So Lightning Jolt, solid, does it costs 4, does 3 dice of damage. So it's a good finisher. It's a good way to stagger a level. Like, I would say if there's a level 2 creature that's giving you a lot of trouble, Lightning Jolt is really good. It does a decent amount of damage, and it will stagger that creature. So in Academy, it's a solid all-around card. Nothing to write home about, but you might want to throw a couple in. In Arena, however, my opinions on it are really up in the air because it is next to Hurl Rock. Hurl Rock. It is actually, it's cheap. It's the cheapest attack in the game. So, our attack spell rather, and it is I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about it because its effect is stagger, and so in Arena, I mean, I guess if you want to like slowly whittle down a large creature, it's going to roll 2 less dice to attack with, or if it's a level 2 creature, then cool. You're doing this, you're stunning it, and level 2 creatures you kind of get screwed in that way. But level 1, I don't know why you'd really waste the spell on it in Arena. Academy totally makes sense, but not really sure. So it's, as I said, kind of all around. Piercing Thunderstrike. This card. This I'm not sure about yet, but I feel like this Piercing Thunderstrike could possibly change a lot of ways builds work. Because, of course, from my perspective, Piercing Thunderstrike, I immediately think of the Rushmaster. It is a quick action. It costs 6, so it's 1 more than Arc Lightning. However, even though it doesn't have the unavoidable trait, it does have Piercing 2. 4 dice, Piercing 2, 7-up chance to stagger. So if you're going against a solo mage with a lot of armor, Piercing Thunderstrike is going to ruin them. It's basically, I wouldn't say it's quite comparable, but it's basically Surging Wave to your Force Master. Surging Wave messes Force Masters up. Piercing Thunderstrike will it will ignore their armor unless they have 2, and it will stagger them. So if they're going solo and they try to physically attack you, it's not going to do them any good. So Piercing Thunderstrike is really good. If you're playing an aggressive build in Arena, if you're playing an aggressive build, you're going to run at your opponent, cast some spells on them, they're going to freak out, cast some armor on them. You follow it up with Piercing Thunderstrike because you don't care. In Academy, however, this card is just awesome. Piercing Thunderstrike is great. In Academy, a lot of creatures will have like 1, 2 armor, and you're dealing 4 dice with a good chance to stagger. There's no arguing that. Piercing Thunderstrike is awesome. So, they'll take Discharge. It costs 6, full action, attacks everything in the zone for 3, and unlike a Circle of Fire or Electrify, it does hit your mage also. So basically, Voltaic Discharge I would only do if you're outnumbered by creatures and are only running large creatures yourself, because it has a 7-up chance to stagger, so you will ruin your creatures in the process if you do this. In Academy, I could see it being a balancing card against a bunch of level 1 creatures, so it's very good against a Beastmaster, which, look, it was designed to fight the Beastmaster. Makes sense. But in Arena, it can only be used in a zone you're at, and it does attack your mage, and it does 3 dice of damage, and I just don't think it's going to be used. Not in Arena. I mean, not unless there are wacky combos used, but it itself, its raw abilities, not good enough. So I would say Voltaic Discharge, you're just not really going to see in Arena very often, but in Academy, it can be a swing card. So there's our attack spells. Let's move on to equipment. Very excited to talk about equipment. I'm very excited I get to do it for the first video because you guys are going to love this. All right. So, Emerald Elk Staff. This is the first shield slot equipment, official, like not promo. Emerald Elk Staff, it goes in the shield slot, nothing else, so it's not like a weapon or shield. Its ability is during upkeep phase, you may heal up to 2 different animal creatures in your zone by paying 1 mana each for each of them. So you pay 2 to cast this on yourself, and you get the ability from your shield slot to pay 1 mana every turn to heal 1 creature, and then an additional 1 mana to heal another creature if you so choose. So basically, this will help you keep your creatures alive if you're running bears, if you're running small minions, or whatever the case is. Oh, by the way, it's Beastmaster only. So if you're running a bunch of small minions or whatever, you can keep them alive. I think this would actually be pretty darn awesome for Arena if you're running medium-sized creatures, like a bunch of them, like a bunch of level 2s, Timberwolves, whatever it is, because Emerald Oak Staff will help you keep them alive slowly but surely, and your opponent may not realize how effective it is. Now, that being said, at the same time, it could not be effective. I mean, if in Arena, you roll a lot more dice, so healing 1 damage to 2 creatures every turn for 2 mana off of your out of pocket, it's not necessarily that great. The benefit to it is you can heal without using an action, so that is nice. Emerald Oak Staff. Joktari Hunting Knife. I know you've already seen this one before. It costs 4, 3 dice of damage in an Academy. That's pretty cool. You do 1 extra die of damage, and if you're Arena, it does 4 dice of damage instead of 3. So regardless, you're going to get 1 extra die to roll. In addition, when you attack and deal damage with that weapon, a friendly creature in your zone gains melee. So the downside I've seen some people talk about with Joktari Hunting Knife is that it requires you to use your mage first, and then your anchor creatures can go after. However, most likely with the Beastmaster, well, at least in Academy, most likely with the Beastmaster, you're probably going to end up activating him before your final creature action phase anyway, so there's that. But in Arena, he doesn't really have a great weapon right now, right? Like, I actually see more Beastmasters running Morningstar than I do the staff. So, Joktari Hunting Knife is great. It gives you a melee weapon that you're actually going to use. So, necessary weapon, necessary card, and really solid all around. So, I don't know if this has been revealed yet by the time this video is released. Kechara. I I will say out right now, I'm more excited for this card than any other card. It is not amazing. It is not the best. But what it does do is it bridges the gap in a certain mage, the Joktari Beastmaster, that it has not been able to take advantage of its full abilities. Kechara is finally out there to allow this to happen. I'm going to take it back a step, though, first and talk about it in Academy. Kechara it costs 3, it's a ranged attack, 0 to 1 zone, and it does 2 dice of damage. There's nothing to write home about. But if a friendly creature attacked and damaged that round, you gain 1 extra die. Doesn't say you get ranged +1, you simply gain 1 extra die. Unfortunately, right now, you can't like Battle Fury or ranged weapons, so there's really no way to take advantage of that. But, so basically it's the opposite of the hunting knife in that instead you attack with the creature first and then your mage gets to follow it up. So in that way, I think Kechara is better in Academy than it is than hunting knife is. However, that's up in the air. The problem with using your weapon in general as the Beastmaster is you're not casting creatures, so that is the downside. But it is a ranged weapon, and thus an Academy technically means you have elusive, so that is very potent. So in Arena, Joktari Beastmaster. Oh, I'm so excited. It allows you to move 2 spaces and then attack 1 space away. It gives you a threat range of 3. And then on top of that, you're going to be doing minimum 3 dice of damage with her range +1 ability. If you have another creature attacking them, that's 4 dice. If you have Hawkeye, which why wouldn't you? You're going to be rolling 5 dice. Suddenly you're throwing a boomerang at them for 5 dice of damage. That's pretty crazy. There's the possibilities with this. You can move back a zone and then throw a boomerang at them. You can stay in the same zone, throw a boomerang at them. You can cast Mongoose Agility on yourself, giving yourself elusive, run 2 zones, throw a boomerang. Now, granted, not from the original zone you were in, but still, run 2 zones, throw a boomerang. The possibilities are freaking endless with this card. Kechara is so necessary. It is the most mandatory card that is coming out in this set, at least for Arena. So, Kechara, hats off to you. Next up, another game changer is, God, I have no idea how to pronounce this. Leather, people are going to yell at me. Chassis? Leather chassis? Chassis? I don't know. Chassis. I'm going to say chassis. Anyway, it is a pair of pants. It goes in the breeches slot. That doesn't exist until Academy. It gives you +1 armor in your legs. Now, in Academy, very strong. +1 armor goes a long way because creatures are rolling less dice of damage. So I say, yeah, use it. That's all there is to it. Use it. In Arena, this solves a lot of problems because it puts 1 additional armor on a slot that you're not using for anything else, which clears up your hands or your feet slot, because normally people have to fight over, well, do they want to have the leather boots at all, because they might want to have eagle claw boots or whatever it's called, the ones that allow you to dodge, not Cobra reflexes, but the boots equivalent. Reflex boots. Wow, I said the word. So anyway, you have to fight over that. Then you have your gloves, and you're like, I don't know, do I want to go gauntlets or do I want to go gloves? What do I want to do with that? Now you don't have to decide. Pick the card you want to do, and then throw this in there, and you still have your armor. So pretty awesome. But legs. We're wearing pants now, guys. Which kind of disturbs me because, what were we wearing before, if anything? So, Pack Leader's Cowl. This costs 3, it's for the Beastmaster, and it takes up the helmet and the cloak slot. Another unique card. This happens to be a pattern, a theme in Academy. It's going to take 2 slots. It's for the Beastmaster only, and you get +1 armor. And in addition, once per round, you may choose an animal creature, or during the mage's activation, you may choose an animal creature, and you pay mana equal to their level and place a guard token on them. Now, in Academy, that's awesome, because if that creature's already activated, then on your turn, you get to do something like throw Kechara or whatever, and then pay 1 mana to throw a guard token on them. Well, assuming they're a level 1 creature. But basically, you pay their level. So you throw a guard on them. If it's a level 2 creature, congratulations, you just cast Defend. And you got to do that passively, didn't take an action. In Academy, this is an amazing card. as long as you need the defense. Otherwise, it's useless to you, right? So it depends on how aggressive your Beastmaster is going at the time. In Arena, it is not as good because it is in your zone. So yes, it is in your zone. So it is not going to be as effective. However, and there aren't a lot of great guardy creatures with the Beastmaster. However, it is still pretty awesome. So, I mean, once again, it's taking up 2 slots, Helmet and Cloak, something a Beastmaster is not really using anyway most of the time. All right, next up we have Repulsion Cloak. Repulsion Cloak. I mean, okay, so this guy costs 4, and it's Wizard only, Arcane, and it's Cloak. And basically, it's Suppression Cloak Light. Whenever you're attacked, whenever the opponent attacks you, they have to pay 1 mana more in order for that attack to go off, or it's canceled. So, we'll go Arena first because I can compare there. Comparing Repulsion Cloak to Suppression Cloak. Sometimes you don't want to pay, 8 mana for Suppression Cloak? Sometimes you don't want to pay 8 mana to protect yourself because you want to do other things like be proactive. So Repulsion Cloak is there to help you out. You only pay 4 mana, and every time you're attacked, your opponent has to pay 1 mana in addition. So if you're playing a mana lock, which is hint totally viable in Academy or after Academy, Repulsion Cloak is going to be your best friend. So that's an Arena. In Academy, Repulsion Cloak is stupid powerful. You pay 4, and then suddenly your opponent has to pay 1 mana every time they attack you. Now, the reason this is stupid powerful is because it is Wizard versus Beastmaster, meaning you know your opponent is going to have a lot of creatures. There is no guesswork. It's not like an Arena where you're going to be playing somebody who happens to only have 1 or no creatures and then suddenly it's useless. No. In Academy, you're going to be playing the Beastmaster, which is probably going to be running at minimum 3 creatures, and when I say that, I mean, like, why is half his deck not creatures? So Repulsion Cloak is going to be stupid awesome against it. It is a must destroy card. Once your opponent casts it, if you're the Beastmaster, you gotta destroy that. So, I mean, otherwise you're just not going to be casting cards, and at that point you might want to just like cast Kechara or Hunting Knife and just go to face. So really, yeah, you can work around it, but it is very powerful. So there's Repulsion Cloak. Next up is Rod of the Arcanum. This is awesome. So, it costs 4. You're going to get +1 die, whether it's an Academy or an Arena, and every time you attack them, you're going to mana drain them. So, yeah. I mean, it gives you a nice little attack in case you can't do anything else. And so in Academy, that's all right. Like, a lot of times you're going to be using attack spells, but with Rod of the Arcanum, maybe you don't need to. And if you're done summoning creatures, which the most likely the wizard is going to run out of creatures to cast before the Beastmaster does, you have something to back up on. It's Rod of the Arcanum, pretty good in Academy. In Arena, man, how many times have you played Wizard and just like at some point we're like, I don't really have anything to do with my action, I guess I'm just gonna punch you. Well, now screw punching when you just bonk him in the head and steal mana from him. So it's a nice little contingency. I don't think it's gonna break the game or anything. I don't think anybody's gonna look at the game at the end of it and go, oh man, that totally lost me the game. However, it is effective and it's nice to have around. So Rod of the Arcanum. Cisteran Robes. So we're starting to see a theme here with the wizard. It's going to cost 4, takes up your chest plate, and gives you 1 armor. And every time you cause your opponent to lose mana based off an ability you have, you gain a mana. So I just mentioned 2 cards that are going to cost your opponent mana. And in addition, we have a card that's going to gain you mana every time it happens. In Academy, that's very powerful because you need that extra mana because you're only generating 7 normally. In Arena, only good in mana lock builds, so it's not gonna break things or anything. Like, don't worry about it being OP. However, it is on a chest plate, and normally the only chest plate armors that you're gonna cast are gonna be like a Dragon Scale Hauberk or something like that. But now finally you have a 4-cost card that can go on you. It's only gonna give you 1 armor instead of the normal 2. But hey, it comes with a nice ability. What's cool about Cisteran Robes is it is not wizard only, so anybody can use it. You can think of the combos. Wisp Willow Amulet. Oh, Wisp Willow Amulet. Cost 3. It's going to generate you 1 mana a turn until it generates you 6, because it has Dissipate 6, and then it goes away. Now, there's a lot of possibilities with this. Yes, it's not going to potentially gain you as much mana as Mana Crystal. However, have you ever played an aggressive build that won by turn 6? Because I'm sure a lot of you have. Did you ever have an action that you didn't really feel like you needed to use? Did you decide, man, why would I ever cast Mana Crystal? Well, the answer is you won't anymore. You're going to cast Willow, Wisp, Amulet, because it only costs 3, it's going to get you 6, and if the game ended by turn 6, hey, look at that, it was useful. The downside, of course, is if you're winning by turn 6, you're probably using an action to be effective, like, I don't know, give yourself an aggression thing, Bear Strength, Hawkeye, something like that. So, only if you find yourself using, or like, having action left over, are you going to use this. Now, in Academy, I mean, this, I feel like it's a must-have in Academy. You have your setup phase, so turn 1, if you're not going to cast a big creature or whatever, that's going to cost all your mana. Willow, Wisp, Amulet is awesome. Plus, the mage starts off or the wizard starts off with an additional 3 mana. So, hey, look at that. There it is, right there. There's the, basically, if you're playing that build, then your wizard reads start off with Willow, Wisp, Amulet. So, there it is. Witchwood Iron Vine. I know how to say that. It costs 5. It goes on your head. Or no, I'm sorry, it's a belt. What am I saying? Costs 5, goes on the belt slot, and it gives you armor plus 1 and regenerate 1. That's so awesome. That is so awesome. And it's not a specific mage. It's nature 1, so I mean, like, people are just gonna use this. It's just gonna get used everywhere. Everyone's gonna use this. I mean, maybe not the druid because she has ironbark skin, whatever, you know, and maybe if you really need regrowth belt, but otherwise, oof, why would you not use this card? This card is going to be everywhere. Armor plus 1 to regenerate 1. You just casually cast it. Like, the moment you take 2 damage, like the moment like your opponent looks at you and just like punches you in the face, you're like, oh no, I'll put a belt on, and then within 2 turns that attack didn't even matter, and then it's just a constant hindrance. Downside is it costs 5, so it's going to be easy to destroy. In Academy, this can be baller because it gives you plus 1 armor and it makes you more survivable, and because creatures don't attack with as much dice, 1 armor is great and you're going to be healing over time. So I mean, I can't, this card, man, this card, it's not that it's like overpowered because of like its cost or anything. It's just its combination of its effects make it so amazing. So Witchwood Iron Vine, I expect to see everywhere, and I will be surprised if I'm wrong. So that's all we got for this episode, and I'm only a third of the way through. So thanks for coming by, and next episode we're going to do enchantments and incantations. So be excited for that. It's awesome. And then we'll have one more episode after that where I talk about the creatures, which I know you're going to be very excited for. So we'll see you around.